And now for another episode of How It Be with DannyG.
Lately, there's been some talk on some of the posts about some different supply houses online. So I know that on one post, somebody posted some valves from the PEX universe and some from supplyhouse.com. So I went ahead and I had commented on there, and somebody had said, post what my findings are. So I ordered from both of those and from my local supply house, which I'm very pleased with. And I got all those products in and decided to kind of do a little comparison and a little review. You asked me for some feedback, so here it is. I'm not a professional testing agency. This is not Mythbusters. It's not rocket science here. This is just one guy's opinion and my observations of what they sent me. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of these fittings and valves. So here are the products that I'm talking about. Kind of made a little spread here that will kind of show you some comparisons. So the first sheet is some of the fittings and valves. I'm going to leave these on the screen for just a second. That way, if you want to pause and be able to read pricing or whatnot, you can. So these are the three companies: the supplyhouse.com, pexuniverse.com, and my local plumbing supply. And this sheet here is one that it has a comparison, a direct line-by-line comparison. So if you wanted to pause that and take a look, go ahead. Otherwise, these are the fittings from Supply House, valves and fittings, and then from PEX Universe, and from the local supply house that I use. One of the things that I want to discuss the most is the valves. So pretty much all this is ProPress, and from the supply house that I use locally, I get these Legend valves, and I see other people using them. I know Eric Silva uses them amongst other people as well. Seems to be a good valve. I've never had an issue with them, and it does have a double O-ring in there, which is a little unique, I believe, to the Legend valve. I've not seen another one that has the double O-ring in there. They are more expensive, and I don't know if it's worth paying the extra to have the double O-ring. None of the other fittings have a double O-ring, so I don't know if it's that necessary. Those valves are $15.86 versus the valve from PEX Universe and Supply House, which are virtually identical valves. Both of those, I have no doubt, rolled off the same assembly line. Everything is 100% the same except for the name. You got a blue fin from Supply House and right valves from the PEX Universe. So just one O-ring in each. I have not given them a test run, although what do? You crimp them and use them. I would assume that they're going to operate the same. They do have a packing nut, whereas the Legend valve doesn't seem to have a packing nut. So, but it is a shorter bodied valve than the Legend, which I find to be a little interesting, because at times you're a good inch shorter. Oops, let me get up here on the screen. You're about a good inch shorter as far as the body of that valve, end to end. So sometimes you get into some tighter areas, and that extra inch may mean you get to put a valve in there or you don't. So I kind of like it for that reason. Those valves at the Supply House are $8.08. They are $7.23 each if you buy 10 or more. So versus $14.59 if you bought 12 at my local supply house on the Legend valve. In the PEX Universe, it was $9.65 or $8.95 if you bought 10 or more. So I think that I'm liking these valves. I got the half-inch one. All the valves from PEX Universe and Supply House, they all come with these little plastic caps inserted in them. So I just thought I'd point that out. Not that you're going to use them, but they're there. Now, as far as the fittings go, I ordered couplings that are Viga couplings, and I ordered from the supply house. They offer some import couplings and some other fittings imported as well. Not a huge price difference in them. You're looking at the regular coupling is $269 versus the repair at $209. So I guess it all depends how many you're going to use. They virtually appear to be the same. They feel the same weight, feel the same quality if there's a quality feel to them. So that's going to be kind of a personal choice whether or not you're using them. I think I'm going to stick with the Viga for not that much more money. Let's see here. One of the other things that, and the local supply house sells me the Viga, so does supplyhouse.com. So the other thing I wanted to point out was the female adapters. The female adapter, the price difference between the Viga from my local supply and from the supply house was virtually exactly the same. They were both $4.59 for that exact same fitting. Now, the PEX Universe, they sell a female adapter that is a little bit cheaper, and I believe it was $4.35, so not a whole lot, but a little bit. I don't like the feel of it though. It feels a little cheaper. I don't like the threads being right up here, the flats being right up at the edge of the fitting. Versus it seems a little bit more durable the way that Viga brings theirs down a little bit. The Viga threads seem to run a little bit deeper as well. So I don't know. It just I have a feeling that the Viga is going to win in this category. I think if you held both of these in your hand, you may feel the same way. So I definitely am going to be getting a Viga female adapters. The other thing to compare would be the Viga Street 90s versus PEX Universe, their Street 90. Theirs is just a longer pattern. It's a closer pattern with the Viga, so you can get, you get in tight spaces. You can make things happen a little bit better. It has a longer end to it, and the fitting is longer both ways, both directions. So I think that I like the Viga fitting on that as well. So you can look at all the pricing. I showed you the price guide, or I'm going to, so you can look at that. One other thing is there's this fitting here that I happen to like. It is this one's a 3/4 ProPress by PEX Press Viga Pure Flow PEX system. This is the way that I transition from copper to PEX whenever I need to. That's a great fitting. I have a whole nother video, a whole nother episode dedicated to that. But PEX Universe does not carry those. PEX Universe does not carry the PEX Press or the Pure Flow Viga system. So, which I think is kind of odd. PEX Universe sounds like a name where they'd carry all things PEX, and they don't. So now supplyhouse.com, they carry those exact same fittings by Viga. So I like that, and they were a little bit cheaper. You can see that in the price guide as well. So one thing to note is that, of course, local plumbing supply house, you pretty much go and pick it up, or they deliver it, in a very timely fashion. PEX Universe and Supply House, both of those online companies. I ordered both of these on Tuesday the 5th. The supplyhouse.com came Wednesday the 6th, and the PEX Universe didn't come until Friday the 8th. So, definitely Supply House wins in that category, where they got it turned around a whole lot quicker and got it out there the next day. So that's something that I have to keep in mind. So that's pretty much it. And so my overall feeling is that while I will continue to use my local supplier, I also feel like I could add the supplyhouse.com to my list of suppliers for items that I want to stock up on, commonly used items. So their price seems to be good, their turnaround seems to be good, their materials seem to be good. The main difference is going to be in these ball valves. Kind of interested to start using some of these much less expensive ball valves, and I guess time will tell on whether I like them or not, but I do believe I'm going to. So, you know, feel free to get your hands on some of them as well. You know, again, I think supplyhouse.com, I think that they have the edge right now when it comes to the online supplying of these materials. So hopefully this has been somewhat helpful. And if it has, I don't know, give me a like, share, or subscribe to the channel. You know, maybe you'll catch another helpful video someday. Take care.